Hello, my name is Julie and this is KS Mom Crochets, and today is Crochet Podcast number 50. Like, I cannot believe that it's been 50 podcasts already, so I'm really excited about that. But the reason I am standing up here is because I have a finished object that I need to hold up in order for you to be able to see it, and that is my corner to corner blanket that I'm doing, or that I finished. I learned how to do the corner to corner stitch from Terri over at Yarnjoy Podcast. She has a square tutorial for the corner to corner stitch, but she also has a rectangle corner to corner tutorial that I followed to learn how to do this, in case you don't know, because I didn't. And she was great. She did an excellent job, and I was able to make this blanket, and I'm so excited. So I used a 6mm hook, and I used Mary Maximum Value yarn in the color dark green, medium green, and green variegated. So without further ado, here's the blanket. So I love how it turned out. I think it's wide enough for me, and then it's going to be really hard to show you the full blanket, but I'm going to try. So this is how trying to get it to go slow so you can see. But here is the corner to corner blanket, and now I'm going to get situated back to where I regularly record, which is this chair here, and I'll see you in just a second. So I'm so happy with how this blanket turned out. I think it turned out so pretty. I just love how these colors came out together. I will pop in a picture of what it looks like, because I know that probably didn't really work out like I had in my head, but hopefully you got the gist, and then you will be able to see the picture. So my plan was to try to do the color repeats 3 times, and then end on this dark green, but I had to switch colors right on the corner, but that's okay. I think it looks fine. I'm very happy with it. So I did do 18 rows of the dark green, 6 rows of the medium green, and then 6 rows of the green variegated, and then I started that sequence over again. So I repeated that color sequence 3 times, and I don't know what I did with my little book. I changed colors like that 3 times, and then I did 18 more rows of the dark green, and then I had to do 5 rows. Where'd it go? And then I had to do 5 rows of the medium green in order to finish off the blanket. And I got all my ends weaved in, so I'm very happy with it. So sorry about that. I went ahead and put the blanket on the back of my chair just to get it out of the way, and then I had left my notes across the room, so I had to get that. So I wanted to make sure that I didn't forget to say anything. Okay, so I used 2 full skeins of the dark green, and then I actually had a scrap ball, and that is the only thing that saved me, because I have made a blanket out of these colors before for my sister, and I had a scrap ball left over of that dark green because I ran out of yarn. So I used 2.5 skeins of this dark green, and then I didn't even use a whole skein of either one of these medium or green variegated, because I didn't do as many rows of it. So I did use about 3/4 of both of those skeins, but not quite the whole one. And then I did 43 blocks across, and then the length is 71 blocks. And I think that's all that I need to say about that. So let me figure out what my next project is, because I started that back in January and just now got it finished. I feel like that it took me forever to finish that. Okay, so I did finish my cowl for Litsa over at Coco's Crochet. She's hosting a crochet along where she picks colors from a calendar and draws them out, and she's doing a stitch sampler, and then I decided to join in on the cowl but to do something different, and I'm making half and half, corner to corner squares. Well, when I showed this last time, someone told me that one of my squares was connected wrong, so I went in and fixed that, and I had to deconstruct the whole entire blanket in order to get that one off. And then when I did that, I realized that I actually did one of the squares wrong. It wasn't this square right here was the one that was on there like backwards. I think I had it backwards is why it looked different. But then this square I actually had to completely rip out and redo because I completely did it wrong. I added an extra increase or something. I don't know how I didn't catch that. But I do have ends because I have not weaved in my ends. I worked on this for a long time and I was like, I'm not weaving in these ends right now. I will do it later. So these were the first two colors for January, and then you have February. So I'm doing 4 blocks and then I'm going to go 6 down. So 4 by 6. And then these were the colors for March's calendar picture. And I think they turned out really good. Now I'm using a 6mm hook on this, and I'm using all scrap yarns for the squares, mostly Big Twist yarn for the squares, but there's other brands probably in here too. And then the black is the Big Twist value in black to connect. And I did follow a tutorial on how to connect the squares. I figured out how to do the half and half square on my own using the corner to corner method, but I did follow a tutorial on how to do the border and connect the squares. But whenever I took it apart and redid it, I decided that I was going to connect each square individually instead of doing the join as you go. It's still like join as you go because you join each square as you make it, but I'm not going to have like the continuous, like the snake the snake join, because that way if I mess up again it will be a whole lot easier to take the squares apart than it was like doing that, in my opinion. I mean, I'm probably wrong, but I think the colors are turning out really, really good. I really love that I picked that bright pink there. I think it really makes it pop. And I love that there are, because there was 2 months that had green and 2 months that had like brown or tan, you know, but that when you use different shades, like here I use 2 different shades of green, and it just makes it look like different colors. So I'm really happy with how this project is turning out, and I'm really enjoying doing this cowl with Litsa. And thank you so much, Litsa, for putting this together for us. One of these days, if I get time, I would love to do her stitch sampler blanket that she's actually made the base the cowl on, because I just absolutely love seeing hers and how it's turning out, and all the people that are sending pictures to her and seeing how theirs is turning out, and it really makes me want to do that, but I don't want to start another whip. So I gotta reel myself in because I've got so many things that I want to do. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to show you is another cowl project, and oh my gosh, so Crystal over at Chronically Crocheting is holding a little mini cowl. It lasts until February the 14th, which is Valentine's Day. And I wanted to participate. You could do a paid for pattern, which was the Pillow Bear by Lily Ellis, or you could do Cassandra over at Craftably Ever After's Buddy 2.0, which now I do want to do Buddy 2.0, but I had chose to do the Pillow Bear for the cowl. But I am not happy. I'm not happy with this bear at all. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. So in my last podcast, I showed you 2 different yarns that I was deciding between. They were the Cozy Toes from Hobby Lobby, Yarn Bee Cozy Toes that I had got on clearance, and one of them was like a really dark colors, variegated with bright pink and black, and I did 3 rows of the leg, and I was like, there's no way I cannot use this yarn. I could not see my stitches, and the yarn is so thin. There was just no way. I wasn't going to put myself through that, even though I love the yarn. I do know how to do the knit stitch. I think that yarn would be easy to knit with. I'm not saying that I'm a knitter, because I am not. I've knitted very, very little in my life, but one of these days I would love to make socks, and I think I'm going to save that yarn, and maybe one day I will knit a pair of socks. Who knows? But I don't think that I will ever be able to use that yarn for amigurumi. There's just no way. I can't see it. So I went with the other color that I had, which was Heyday, and I used a 2.75 millimeter hook. So here, this is not the problem, okay? So this part looks really cute. Now, I did have to color control because the color changes were very long, like almost half a skein long, and amigurumi just doesn't take that much yarn. Perfect for socks, I'm sure. So I did have to cut a lot of this blue, and I deconstructed my skein of yarn a little bit, just to so that I would have more variation in the colors for this project, because if you made this in worsted weight, I think it would be pretty good sized, because there's actually a lot of rows in this pattern. But with this sock weight yarn, which is what the Cozy Toes is, you know, it just doesn't use a lot of it. So I wanted to make sure that I got some variations. And I know I'm waiting to show you his face, because his face is what is so bad. So here he is. Oh my gosh. So my poor little pillow bear looks like he has drank way too much caffeine. I know what the problem is. The problem is I gave him way too small safety eyes, is what I did wrong. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's so bad. Okay. So, for his eye circles, I use Shepye's Katona in Snow White, which is number 106. His muzzle here is Drop Saffron in the color Camel, which is number 21. I use 6 millimeter safety eyes, and I should have went up a lot more than that. I don't know what I was thinking, but I had already had them stitch on, and I'm almost embarrassed. I'm almost embarrassed to send Crystal a picture of this, because he looks like he is hyped up on something. But I was thinking, I'm going to cut these eyes off, and I'm going to make new eyes and use bigger safety eyes. But my daughter just fell in love with him. So I'm going to just give him to her, because she loves him. Even though I think he looks awful. But, you know, we all love different things. Now, his arms, I didn't stuff his arms like they do in the pattern. The pattern also has them out to the side like that. And I just sewed his little arms down. I did color control, like I said. I used the yellow part that I had took out from the body for the arms, and then I used some blue for the ears. I did make a little tiny doily, because this bear has doilies on it, and that's what made me fall in love with this bear, was the doilies. And I thought, okay, this is a sock weight yarn, so a crochet number 10 thread should work. And I really struggled to do this 5-row doily with that crochet 10 thread, but I did, and it's too big. It's huge. And so I got to looking at the pattern, and I was like, why is this coming out so big and hers is not? And I think it's because she uses yarn from Hobie, I think. I may be wrong about that. I'd have to look at the pattern again. But it says it's an XL, and I don't know if that's a 3-weight or a 4-weight. I'm not positive, because I wasn't familiar with the yarn that she used. But then it did say that she used a sport weight yarn to make the doily. So she used a bigger yarn to make the bear, and a sport weight yarn to make the doily. So it made it, more proportional. And the number 10 thread must have not been a big enough difference, even though I used a 1.75 hook for that. But I think it turned out really, really cute. And I do want to keep this. I will keep this, and maybe I can incorporate it on something else in the future. You never know. I may have to redeem myself with this crazy looking bear. I may have to redeem myself, and maybe I can use this on it. I'm not happy with the yarn choice. I love this Cozy Toes yarn, but I'm not crazy about this Heyday for Amigurumi. The striping is just too long for the Amigurumi, in my opinion. I know I say a lot of things that I have preference for, but I do love everybody else's things that they do differently than I do. Just wanted to say that. But I do have personal preference, and I do think that the striping is too much, too long for Amigurumi, so I probably won't use the rest of that yarn for anything. I don't know. Not for this. Maybe like a bigger project or something. But yeah, so here's my cowl project. That face, oh my gosh, it's just, oh. So I do want to redeem myself. I did finish this next project right before this video because I was like, I cannot get on there. I didn't write any notes on this either, but I was thinking I cannot get on there and show them that pillow bear and not show them something that actually turned out cute. So the next thing that I made came out of this book. Now I did do a Amigurumi. Let me grab the yarn that I used so that I can tell you what the colors are, because I did not take any notes on this whatsoever. So I did do an Amigurumi book haul, and this is one of the books that I was able to get, and this is called Little Friends in the Hatching Bag. And I seen this exact pattern and this book on Classy Handmade, which is Shondell. I'm pretty sure I said her name right. And I just fell in love with it. I fell in love with her channel. So definitely, if you haven't heard of her, go and check her out because she makes some gorgeous amigurumis. But I really wanted to try this book out. And I went into more detail in that video. I actually show you all the patterns and everything in it. But I decided that I wanted to make the triceratops. And here is how mine turned out. And I think it's absolutely adorable. Like, I just love it. Now, its head's kind of tilted, but it gives it character. I can straighten it up a little bit. I did start this when I was like really super tired, so I didn't actually do everything correctly. Pattern was great. No problems with the pattern. It was just the crocheter. But she still turned out great. Like, I just love her so much. And in the picture, she here's what the picture looks like. She has little pink, like the pink on the top of her head, but she also has pink on her hands. And it said that in the pattern to start with that color, but I didn't see it. And so I had already started with this minty color, so I just went with it and did that. I still may go back and blush her cheeks because her little cheeks are blushed. I may go back and do that. But I had a lot of fun making this, and it was so easy to do. Like, so very easy. I definitely love the patterns in this book. She does sell these individually on her Etsy shop. She also sells the PDF pattern of this book on her Etsy shop as well. And then obviously this book is available on Amazon. But it's more like a printed off book. Instead of like a regular book. But I'm so happy with this purchase, and I want to make so many more of these. I just think it's so adorable. It does have a little tail there, which actually helps it sit. It actually does sit really, really well. The way that the legs are and the tail, it really helps it balance and sit, and I just love it. So what did I use? I used a 3.25 millimeter hook on this. That white's getting blowed out on this, and I used Brava Sport Weight yarn on this, and this color is called Mint. So I used the mint, and then I used white in that same yarn, and then I used this color right here, which I'm not sure I've got it covered up. Freesia. It's called Freesia. I don't know if that's going to focus. I think I said that right, but I used this color. And I think it turned out so cute. I love this yarn. I really do. Like, it's so, this is the second time that I've used it on Amigurumi, and I absolutely love working on it. Working with it. It's so very nice. The only negative thing that I have to say is that when you're trying to get the middle out, the yarn out of the middle, I mean, you get yarn bars, but that happens with all yarns. But sometimes the ball band will just snap. The ball bands are not made very well, like they're too thin or something, but I didn't buy the yarn for the ball band. I bought it for the yarn, you know, to use the yarn. So I'm not disappointed in that at all. I just put some tape on it and tape it up. But I did want to mention that because that happened to me on like at least two skeins of that yarn. But I hope that you like my little triceratops, and I definitely want to make more of those little critters. I don't know which one I want to make next, but these are so cute. Obviously you can make that little bag, and I didn't do that. I didn't make the little bag. Maybe one day I will make that bag though. I'm trying to think. Now I did start another project because that's all my finished objects. Let me find it. I started the Valentine gnome from the Passionate Crafter, which is a gnome along. Now I don't have intentions of making every single gnome that she puts out, but I really liked this month, so I thought, why not? I'll make it. But I'm doing it. She actually gives you 4 options. She gives you one that has hearts. I don't know what that's called, like a graph or tapestry, I don't know, of hearts all around the body. And then she has just plain ones that are like this that I done for January. And so that's the one that I chose. She gives you boy and girl versions of those gnomes, and I chose to do the boy. And I have got quite a few little pieces done. I'm trying to think. I'm using a 2.75 millimeter hook, and I'm using Shepye's Katona yarn. And I'm doing the boy gnome, but I'm using the girl's hat. So I'm doing the colors of the boy gnome, I'm pretty sure, but I'm using the hat the way the hat is for the girl. So the hat for the girl looks more like this one for the winter gnome. But here's what I've got so far. So I still have quite a ways to go. I started with the Snow White number 106 for the bottom. I did do the simple stitch all the way around the bottom there. That's just something that Pampino, who has changed her Etsy shop name to Pam Gnomes. So now she's got a new Etsy name. But I do a lot of her gnomes, like this one right here, and she always incorporates that. So now when I make gnomes, it's just something that I always do because I really like that extra detail. I do have my cardboard in the bottom to give him stability, and then this color right here is called Light Silver, which is number 172. And then for the hat, I'm using Hot Red, which is number 115. For his skin color, I will be using Shell, number 255. And then for some of the hearts, because I'm going to do pink and white hearts, I'm going to do Marshmallow, number 518. Which is, let me see if I can pull it out here. Where'd it go? Which is this color right here. So I'm going to do some of the hearts in this one. So in this gnome, I'll have the picture up. I'm sure I already do. But there's hearts on the hat. And then there's a heart hanging from the hat. And I'm pretty sure the heart that she has hanging from the hat is upside down. And I think I'm going to make it right side up somehow. And like make a chain from the middle of the heart to hang from the top of the hat. I think that's what I'm going to do if it works out. So the only thing I have left to do is to make, because there's two different, there's like an applique version, and then I think the other one is stuffed. The one that hangs is like a stuffed heart, like a 3D heart. So I have to make that, the applique hearts, the nose, and the arms, and then he'll be done. Well, obviously he needs a beard, and I'm not sure about the beard yet. I'm going to wait until I get all of his pieces and stuff and then decide on the beard color, but I know that I'll use the needle felting wool because that's just personal preference for me. She does have crocheted beard, so if you don't like needle felting, crochet beard is just as cute. So that is my progress on my Valentine gnome, and I'm hoping that I can get some work on that tonight because I think it's so cute, and I really want to make it. So you never know. I may end up making more than I originally thought that I would. Now the next thing that I started is probably a jumbled up mess from carrying it in here because I literally just started this not too long ago. Let's see if I can get it over here. So I received this Crochet World magazine in the mail. Yesterday, I think, and which was Saturday. I don't know when this video will come out, but Saturday. I got this Saturday, and there's some really cute patterns in here. I'll pop up a picture of what patterns are in here. There's a lot of like charts. I'm not crazy about chart graph-gans, stuff like that. It's not really my thing. I don't think that I would ever have the patience to do that. Never say never, but for now, that's not something that I have intentions of doing, which I never really expected to work with thread or really tiny yarn, and here I am, so you never know. But there is a lot of granny projects in here, and I absolutely love the granny stitch. It's my favorite stitch. I really like the bag on the front. And then there's a granny square blanket in here. I know I'm kind of going down a rabbit hole, but I just want to show you. I really love that granny square blanket. So it uses the big blocks, but then you also make like a long strip to connect them, and I really, really love that. I think that's so pretty. And then there was something else in here that I really, really liked. They have another one that uses rectangles, but I like the one with the squares the most. So here's another one that uses the granny stitch, I'm pretty sure. But it uses like rectangles. But I really like the one with the squares better. There's also that little bunny in here too that I think is adorable. So they give you the pattern for the carrots there, but then you also get the bunny that looks like a carrot. So it's pretty much, this right here is pretty much the bunny's body, except you don't make it so pointed, and then you just add arms and ears, and I think that's really, really cute, and it would be fast to make. So that may be coming up because I really like that. But what did I start? That's what I was talking about. What did I start? I started these guys right here. And these are called Granny Turtles, and they are designs by Amigurumi Crochet. And in this pattern, they use worsted weight yarn, and they use a 3.5mm hook. But I decided, since I already was using, or I really like using that Brava worsted weight, that's what I was going to use. So this is what I have done so far. So this is the top part of the shell, and these are the colors that I have decided to use for that shell. So like I said, it's just a granny stitch, except it's done in single crochet, which I had never done before. So that's fun to do. I really am enjoying doing this. I just stopped in order to make this video. But these are the colors that I chose, and like I said, I'm using Brava worsted, or not worsted, Brava Sport weight is what I'm using. And I'm using a 3.25mm hook, in case I didn't say that. This color is called Dove Heather, right here. It's all connected, and it's all a mess, because I had yarn barf, and everything's connected. This one is called Mulberry, and it's a really deep purple. this other one is called Fairy Tale. And I just thought those colors would look pretty together. And then for the, like they actually used a similar color. Like for this one, they used the pink that's in the shell to make the body. This one, they used the green, the blue, you know. Well, I decided I'm going to use a different color. And this is the color that I'm going to use for the body and to join it all together. So where's my little start at? So I think those colors look good with this green. So I hope it works out how I have in my head. And this color is called Hunter. And I just love that color green. So that's why I chose it. So I'm really excited about that. Working up really easy. It's not a very long pattern. So I think that I will probably be able to finish this pretty quickly. But I am happy with this magazine. I love getting these magazines in the mail. Even if I don't think that I want to make all of the projects, it's just so fun getting something that's not a bill in the mail and being able to sit and look through it, and you know, you always have it. And our tastes change in crochet. I have learned that. I've been crocheting for about 8 years now, and there's things that I thought that I would never do. I didn't think that I would ever use anything but a 4-weight yarn. I sure didn't think I'd ever use crochet thread. So there's things that are in here that, you know, a few years ago I never thought that I would ever make. So it's nice to have a variety in patterns, because later on, if you decide to try something new and then you decide that you really like it, like these graph patterns that are in here, maybe one day you can pull out your old crochet worlds and make something out of them that you didn't think you would when you got it the first time. So that is all that I have. I did want to say, I think I forgot to say, that little doily for the pillow bear, I did use this Aunt Lydia's Classic 10 in the color Stone. I completely forgot that I had this color, and I found it. So when I was putting all my thread together in here, I found that yarn, or that thread. I do have one acquisition, and I was enabled by Kim, the Crafty Nomad, and she showed this on her channel, and it is called a digital caliper. I don't know how to say that. Caliper. And I will have her tutorial linked below. This actually measures the millimeter of your safety eyes. And I know we all have safety eyes that we don't know what millimeter they are. I know I do. And this little tool is very handy. And whenever I was talking to my husband about it, he's like, I could use that too. So we're going to share this for whatever he needs it for. I don't know what he needs it for, but I think I only paid like $6.99 for this on Amazon. And this is a digital one. Like it actually like it shows up on the screen, like the numbers, and it came with an extra battery. But like I said, I will have Kim's video link below where that she actually shows how to measure them and all that. And I just thought that it was so neat, because I always wondered, how do you do that? And there she was answering my question. So thank you so much for that video, Kim. And if you haven't heard of Kim, the Crafty Nomad, definitely go and check her out. She is a lot of fun to watch. And I think that's all that I have for you all. I did release a yarn haul video from Hirschner's, and I'm very excited to dig into some of that yarn since I finished this blanket. I did forget something. This video is just gonna be all over the place, but it's okay. So this is a whip that I forgot. I forgot about it. It's an old whip that I started years ago. I don't even know, last year, 2 years ago. I didn't have any notes on it, so I'm thinking it's over 2 years old. But I did figure out that I used a 9mm hook with it, and this was my V-stitch scrap blanket. So I'm holding black all the way through. It's Red Heart Bunches of Hugs in the color Licorice all the way through, and then I'm just grabbing scrap yarns. Now this is not something that I'm going to show every podcast. I just want to know, I hear my dog outside the door. I just wanted to show you all because I did add some new colors. So I had it up to this blue color right here. This blue color. So this was already done. And like I said, I started this like two or 3 years ago. Probably three years ago. And so I added this orange into it, and then I added the leftover green from this blanket. So I am going to work on this a little bit at a time, and then as I get some progress on it, I may just show it from time to time. But I did want to let you all know that I did pull out this old whip. It's very, very long, or wide. It's very, very wide. So I did pull this out, and I am working on it. And I do have my tub here, which has the word toys on top because it used to be my daughter's. And it has a lid, and it is just full of the yarns that I'm going to pull out and use on this blanket. So I have pinks and purples and just all kinds of different colors in here of yarn that I'm going to add into this blanket over time, and then obviously probably add more. That's not all my scrap balls, that's just the ones that I want to add to this blanket. Yeah, I definitely need to bust through some of my scraps, and I am using my little bag that I got here to hold my black yarn. This is all I have left of that, but then I also have more. Since it's constantly attached to the blanket, and for now, this blanket actually fits in that bag. I mean, it's not going to for very long, so I'll have to switch it to something else. But it actually fits in there for now, so that's what I have in that. And like I said, that's not going to be something that I constantly work on, that I'm in a rush to get done, because like I was saying before I remembered that, is I did get that Hirschner's yarn, and I'm ready to dig into one of those colors. I just have to figure out which one that I want to use first. So that is really all that I have for you all this time. So I hope that you all are having a wonderful weekend, and yeah, so until next time, I will see you in another video. Bye.